All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. I apologize for the noise because we are at the SHOT Show in 2026. We are at the Otis Technology booth, and we want to thank Otis for letting us use the booth this year to record some shows. Today, it is a huge honor that I have a couple of people with me that said they were willing to do the show, and it's always nice when people do. But I have John Farnam and Vicki Farnam with me today, and I'm not going to say I'm going to geek out about this, but like I said before we started, I have a list of people that I'm never going to have on the show, and you guys are on that list.
So it never ends today.
It ends today. I am a lucky bastard, and I know it. I should probably play the lottery.
Yep. Well, it's our honor to be here, and thank you for inviting us.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I've had a couple of your books for forever, and I actually brought new books for you to sign because I love having a collection of books that are autographed by the authors. So
be happy to.
That'd be great. All right, so you've been in the gun community since forever. Did you grow up hunting and shooting?
No, I got my interest. I guess I've always had an interest in it, but I certainly didn't come from a family that was into it. But when I got back from Vietnam,
Thank you.
I was very unhappy with some of our training.
Yeah.
I wrote a book, or a paper, called Living with Guns, where I pointed out that we were trained how to operate all these weapon systems, but no one ever told us how to live with them.
Interesting.
And of course,
In the Marine Corps.
in the Marines, yes. So many brave young lads died needlessly
Yeah.
because they didn't know how to live with their equipment. And then later on, when I became a police officer, I found the same thing.
Yeah.
And so, I got a wild hair in my ass and decided that I could go out and evangelize, and and I've been doing it ever since.
Well, that is.
So I spent my life teaching classes and lecturing and trying to advance our art and enlighten our students. And I count among our friends most other people in this business, both past and current generation, who are doing this. And it's a tight community. And while we are technically competitors, I suppose, we're all good friends. And we learn from each other.
Yeah, for sure. I absolutely love the gun community. I've what I love about my little gig is I can call people up to see if they'll be on the show, and I'll say, hey, I'm going to be in the area. Can we do a show? And they say, sure. Where are you staying? Come over, stay at our house for a night. Yeah. And this is, one of my big objectives for having the show is to let folks see that pro-gun folks are not the crazy lunatics that, rarely are we the crazy lunatics that they say that we are. And I can't tell you how many people have taken the time to be on the show or, invited me to their house for dinner and stay at their house because I'm out of town for whatever. And these are all great people. So it's a wonderful community to be in.
In our business, when someone calls you crazy, it's a compliment.
For sure. All right. So how long were you in the service in Vietnam?
I got my third Purple Heart on my 51st day in country.
Wow.
I was a young infantry second lieutenant platoon leader. And from the day I got there, we had contact every day.
Oh my gosh.
And most of my friends died. I was one of the few that lived through it. And I was wounded for the third time on my 51st day, and they sent me home.
Wow.
So I'm very lucky and grateful to be here. But
Sure.
Then, of course, I got all inspired, and I decided that I could advance this art. And, of course, there were the previous generation, people like Jeff Cooper and Ray Chapman, Charlie Askins. My seniors had already got the ball rolling, and I chimed right in and got a few of my own ideas. And now I'm in the senior generation, and now we're trying to influence the next generation of young, enthusiastic instructors to continue to advance this art.
And that's great. When I became a air quotes, I was a newbie gun guy. I really didn't know anything. I didn't grow up shooting or around firearms. We were gun agnostics, and once I got into it, I didn't know much. I knew that the class that I took to get my license to carry,
Yes.
I live in Massachusetts.
Yes.
The class that I had to take was the only the class that the police accepted was the only class that they. Sorry, the class the police offered was the only class they accepted.
Yes.
And I swear to God, I walked out of that knowing less about guns than I went in, because it was one of these things where they're like, here we go. Here's a revolver. Here's a semi-auto.
Right.
Don't touch them.
Right.
Don't shoot anyone in the back. Here's your certificate. We're good to go. And,
right.
I knew nothing. So I went to a local library. I found Jeff Cooper's The Complete Book of Modern Handgunning, and I'm
Good.
like, this stuff is cool. And I
Yeah.
absolutely love all the Jeff Cooper stuff. I got a bunch
Yeah.
of books. I got about 4 pounds of books of Jeff. Gunsight had a sale a couple years ago. Art of the Rifle was $35.
Mhm.
There were about four other books that were $1 each.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have to buy these.
Oh
This-
yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
So I got this great collection of Jeff Cooper books. I've got Principles of Self-Protection and everything. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are the
Well, his place in history is certainly secured. He helped us all orient our thinking
yeah.
in the direction it should be. The pistol instructors I had prior to going overseas were all target shooters. They didn't carry guns.
Right.
They all they knew how to do was shoot holes in paper, and that's all. The body of knowledge that we teach didn't exist
Oh, sure.
50 years ago. It does now, and we're refining it regularly and trying to make it available to our students. Melvin Purvis. He's the one who shot John Dillinger at the Biograph Theater, and then sometime in the 30s.
Yeah.
We're pretty sure he carried a 1911. He said he did, and we're pretty sure he carried it cocked and locked. So the practice was done even before Jeff Cooper's time,
Wow.
but it was never codified.
Right.
He never wrote any of this down, so it was kind of lost. And Jeff is the one who really codified it and showed us all, in his own inimitable style, what we should be thinking. And now, since that time, of course, the 1911 today is flirting with obsolescence because there's a whole new generation of striker-fired guns that most of us are using now.
Yep.
But he deserves a lot of credit for getting us all oriented in the right direction.
Yeah, for sure. I remember the first time I got to hold a 1911. I'm going to sound horrible when I say this, but I picked it up and I was like, "Oh, this is a man's gun. Like, this is what it's like to be a man. This is what men shoot."
Yeah.
And then I realized my man thumb did not hit the slide release,
Yeah, right.
and I'm like, "All right, well, and it'll be okay."
So, Vicki and I spend most of our time running around the country teaching classes.
Yeah. How did DTI get started?
I'm sorry?
How did Defense Training International? When and how did you start this?
I just started pounding on doors and working with a lot of police departments.
Yeah.
Today, most of our time is spent with groups of non-police, civilian defenders, and actually I don't like that word, non-police defenders, I should point out. The other real pioneer in this field was my colleague, Mass Ayub, who I was a young trooper just back from Vietnam. Mass showed me that I didn't really know anything.
Right. He does have a tendency to do that, doesn't he?
Well, it's true. He taught how to interface with the criminal justice system, how to talk to police, what to say, what not to say. None of that was being taught.
Oh, yeah.
And so I learned a great deal from him, and since then I consult with attorneys on shooting cases, and sometimes involved in trial testimony, and that has greatly colored the way I teach.
Oh, wow.
I teach this, and at the beginning of every course, I tell our students we have two goals in this course, and that's going to drive everything we do. Goal number one: we all die of old age. Goal number two: we don't spend a lot of time in a penitentiary. And we proceed from there. And good.
You're also the one that's credited for saying, don't go to stupid places and do stupid things at stupid times with stupid people?
Yes.
Is that?
Well, I probably stole that from someone else, but
Mom and Dad, right?
don't go to stupid places. Don't have stupid friends. Don't do stupid things. And the last three: be in bed by 10 o'clock. Have a normal appearance. Just look like a normal person.
Yeah.
And probably the most important of all, don't fail the attitude test.
What's the attitude test?
Be a polite, pleasant person and a frightful bore. And you won't invite a lot of heartburn that you don't want.
Right.
We just the day before yesterday, we were at a local restaurant. This is Las Vegas, of course. I got out of the car. Here's this jamoke, slovenly character standing in front of our car with his hand out. I got out of the car. Of course, I'm armed. And he mumbled something, and I said, "I'm sorry, sir, but we can't help you. You have a nice day." And he mumbled something and stumbled away. Well, I call that a happy ending.
It is a happy ending.
No one gets hurt. The police aren't involved, and he goes out his way.
Yeah.
That's an important part of your training, particularly when you go armed.
Yeah.
When your gun comes out in any kind of public place, you're in felony territory. You can expect to be charged with reckless endangerment or something like that. Most states have laws they call brandishing.
Yeah.
Even when you draw a gun for good cause, that's what the legal term is, the defensive display, and that's not illegal, but you're going to have to pay a lawyer some good money to make a persuasive argument that you had your gun out there for good cause. So it gets pretty expensive right away.
Yeah.
And, I reminded of a line from the Landman series. It was, the moral high ground gets kind of windy at night.
That's a nice line.
So let's spend our time worrying about not getting hurt and not going to prison. And we have to spend some time on that. And I know a lot of instructors probably don't spend enough time talking about that.
Oh, sure. Now, let's bring you into the conversation, Vicki. If I remember right, you guys knew each other when you were in high school.
College.
Close.
College.
Yeah.
Close.
College.
Okay.
I'm the only one in the industry who knew him before he went to Vietnam.
Wow. There we go. That's pretty cool. And then you weren't, if I remember right, he made you sit through classes for 5 years before he let you stand in front of a class and teach?
I like to tell my students that I served a 5-year apprenticeship.
That's a nice way to put it.
Before I was given a class of my own to teach. When I first started going into classes with John, I would watch. I didn't want to sit in a hotel room. I didn't want to sit at the back of the range. So I would watch, and I would go over to him and I'd say, "That person has their finger on the trigger," or "That person doesn't have the right grip." And he would say, "Well, go tell him." and so my background is in education.
Yeah.
And so I would go over there and remind them, finger doesn't go on the trigger now, or, get your grip correct. And I watched and I listened and I learned for 5 years. And then we were teaching at a bodyguard training school in the Rocky Mountains, and the class was particularly big. And John came to me and he said, "Vicki, you're going to have to take a range because there are just too many people."
Yeah.
And I said, do what? So he assigned a very young and talented martial artist to be my assistant on the range. Instead of giving him the range, he gave the range to me. And it was a 5-day class, all, grown-up men
Right.
working at a profession. And I taught those 5 days and have never looked back. But I wouldn't have been as successful if I had not had that 5 years of watching and learning and listening and seeing how people did it in response to how they were taught, and being able to analyze what they were doing. So no one would do that today.
Yeah.
No one would wait 5 years.
5 years.
They go to a 2-day class and they want to be an instructor right
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
And-
totally.
Yep.
Yeah, I did the same thing. After I became a gun guy, I became an RSO so I could run bowling pin shoots. And people say, "What's a bowling pin shoot?" I'm like,
Yeah.
I said, "It's really high tech. We shoot bowling pins." Like it's
you really do that, huh?
right. We're not splitting the atom over here, you know. So I became an RSO. I volunteered time for the state's pro gun group. They would have these firearm safety education days, and the gentleman that was the director of training and education would say, "Hey, we're doing one of these. We're looking for people. You're a good person. You're a teacher. Do you want to do this?" So I'm like, "Absolutely." So after a couple of years of volunteering some time doing that, he's like, "You should become an instructor." I'm like, "What do I have to do?" So I became. I get it. It's nothing. It's the entry level, but I became an NRA certified instructor.
Good.
And in Massachusetts, we have approved courses, and all the classes that you teach are not approved courses, so people can't. They can't use that to get their license to carry. I did a Mag 40 class with Mass in Sioux Falls a few years ago.
Good.
And it's not an approved course. It's 40 hours. It's all the legal stuff that you need to know. It's all the legal stuff he doesn't put out in publications.
Right.
And you're doing the FBI qualification every day. Doesn't meet the requirements for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I started teaching classes, and I'm like, all right, I'm an instructor. What do I do now? And I'm like, I'll get some business cards. And then what do I do now? I'm like, like I said, I went to a shooting school and started teaching there for a bit, and then decided to break out on my own because I was making too much money for the boss, and he wasn't paying me enough.
Yeah.
So what I tell folks is there was a commercial a long time ago for a bank, and they said if you referred someone to the bank and they opened an account, they'd give you $100.
Okay.
So in the commercial, everyone's face started to turn into Benjamin Franklin. Right? And I'm sitting there teaching a class. I get 20 people. I'm up here singing and dancing. Right? I'm bringing in $2,000 for the boss. He pays me $150. He's sitting at home making $18.50, watching me on the closed cameras. I'm like, how do I make $2,000 for me in the next 4 hours? Like, and that's just kind of like, how do I do this? And then you take more classes and you learn more. You learn what you don't know. And it's been a fantastic journey for me. So
good.
Did you grow up in a pro gun household? Where did you guys grow up?
I grew up all around the country, from Indiana to San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago. It was not an anti-gun family, but it wasn't a pro-gun family. My dad had been in World War II, and there was a 1911 in the storage.
Gotcha. Yeah, I call it gun agnostic. We weren't for it. We weren't against it. We're like, all right, people have them.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
Yeah. Where did you grow up, John?
I'm sorry?
Where did you grow up?
Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah, I grew up in Chicago. My dad was an industrialist.
Very cool.
And I went to work for a short time for the family business and discovered that it wasn't going to work.
I was born in Kankakee and grew up in Bourbonnais.
Oh, no kidding.
Which is an hour south.
I went to Crete-Money High School.
Oh, really?
And we just did a course
same
in Kankakee.
conference.
Oh, geez. The wild one of the again. This has been an amazing journey that I've had doing the stuff that I do. I don't know if you know Amanda Suffolk and Rob Campbell.
Oh yeah.
All right. So we were going to the Gun Rights Policy Conference in 2018 was in Chicago, and she was doing a concealed carry fashion show, and Vice News wanted to come make a video about this, and they wanted to interview people, and they saw the videos that I made playing the trumpet, shooting a gun. They wanted to talk to me. We ended up going to the Illinois State Rifle and Pistol Association range, which was 15 minutes from where I grew up. And I'm like, this is just bizarre.
Yeah,
we just did a class there in October.
Yeah.
It's nice in the middle of nowhere. You get some cornfields, and then they got all these trees.
And they're really good people. They assign us a range and then leave us alone.
That's the way it ought to be. So how do you develop, you've got a number of books. How do you develop curriculum for the classes?
My classes are typically, we start with a lecture. The class isn't just to learn how to run a machine.
Right.
I tell my students, if you can run a toaster, you can run any gun I know of. They're not terribly complicated. But we have to teach a whole philosophical overlay, which includes how to interface with the criminal justice system. We've got your physical survival. We have your the litigation, the legal system that we have to manipulate to our best advantage. And then we have your mental health that we have to try to salvage and preserve. And so Students need to know things in advance. Like when you're involved in a fatal shooting, nightmares, they're standard equipment. You're going to get them. No one knows why. It's probably your mind trying to work its way through these things, but when it happens to people, they say, I'm going crazy. No, you're not. This happens to everyone.
Yeah.
And people need to know that in advance so that they don't think they're the only one all these things have ever happened to. Well, that needs to be included in the class. They need to know what to expect from the criminal justice system, what to expect from civilization in general. That you're not going to have a lot of friends. You are going to have a lot of critics.
Oh, sure.
And everybody in the world is going to point out where you could have done it better. All this is perfectly normal. And you have to know whom to talk to and whom not to talk with.
Yeah.
And be confident that although it's painful in the short term, you'll get over. I hate to use the term. I don't think we get over things. I think we get past them.
Yeah.
You'll get past it and go on with your life. And you'll be alive to worry about it.
Right.
Well, all this stuff, this is what students need to know in advance. They don't need to find out the hard way.
Right.
And so that's what I like to emphasize in the class. Then we go out and shoot, and I like to shoot at targets that look like people. So we know it's just a piece of paper, but we're talking about ending someone's life. And I like to mix in threats and mix in non-threats. So you get used to the idea you're going to point your gun at innocent people. It's unavoidable. We try to get them to move. This is a real problem we have in law enforcement right now. Everybody's got their feet in cement. We got to get them to move. Get off what we call the line of force.
Yeah.
We have to teach them to look around. In military training, you're usually part of a team. And they don't emphasize what's going on over here because that's someone else's responsibility. In our training, you're on your own. There's no one here.
Right.
You're responsible for all 360. You've got to be looking around prior to holstering. So you're going to have to turn around online with your gun out, looking all around before you holster. Now, on some ranges, they go ballistic over that. But everything I expect you to do out there, we're going to do here. If it's too dangerous to do here, it's too dangerous to do it all. And I don't put a real person for you out there, but it's a piece of paper.
Right.
And yeah, once in a while, students will shoot the bystander. Now you know how easy it is for it to happen.
Right.
Okay, no matter how careful you are. I've done it.
Right.
So these are all important lessons. These are important experiences that students have to have and carry with them for the sake of their personal survival, for the sake of their legal and financial survival, and for the sake of their mental health. So that's what we try to do in 2 days.
Right. That's a lot. Vicki, I would like you to talk to us about the book that you wrote.
Oh, well, somebody had to write it. That's what I was told.
May as well be
It
you.
might as well be me. It's the third book that I've written, and one of the others was also one of those that somebody had to write it. Off-body carry, as it's been called, has been vilified for decades and decades and decades, and yet you have to be able to carry a gun in a fashion that fits you, fits your circumstances. And a belt holster is not the ideal thing for many people, and yet there are instructors who demand that you do nothing less. If you do anything other than carry a belt holster, a gun in a belt holster, it doesn't count, and it makes you not one of us. But that's not true. So I decided to put everything in writing that I had learned over the years working with John, that some kind of a bag, it doesn't have to be a handbag, some kind of a bag that is attached to your body with a strap can have a gun in it, and you can be just as prepared and just as fast and just as lethal as you need to be to save your life. And that had been poo-pooed by so many instructors, saying that there was no value in carrying a gun any other way than a belt holster, that it would not save your life. But that's not true. So we're just trying to present all the information to people so they can make a wise decision in their own circumstances. And for years, people in law enforcement and in the military often had a bag that they put a gun in and carried along, but that was okay until private citizens wanted to do it, and then it wasn't okay.
Then it wasn't okay. Yeah.
And so we have to look at it and realize what we're actually asking people to do. If we want them to be able to protect themselves, then let's find a way that works for them, not for the ideal of some instructor who thinks he knows what's best for everybody.
Yeah, for sure they don't.
No.
There was about 4 years ago, there was an incident in Massachusetts, in the central part of the state, where a woman was carrying in her purse and didn't have a gun in a holster. And she's digging through the purse and fired off a round at the self-checkout at the Walmart.
Yeah. Well, that's dumb.
Yeah, it is.
That's dumb.
And I remember reading about this, and so many people are like, she needs to lose her gun license, and she needs to have her kids taken away. And I'm like, she needs to get a holster.
Yeah.
And she needs some education.
Yes.
And so before we even wrote the book, we first created a website. The first thing we did was create standards of how to do this other than in a belt holster. And the first standard is, no matter what bag you choose, whether you call it a handbag or you call it a purse or you call it a backpack or a sling bag or a briefcase, it has to have a dedicated pocket. And the only thing that goes in that dedicated pocket is a holster and a gun. And the holster needs to be attached to that pocket to hold the gun in place.
Yeah.
That's number one. Nothing else goes in there, with the exception of maybe having a place to another pocket within the pocket for your magazine, extra magazine.
Right.
Once you start there, then you can create standards for what the rest of the bag is like. You know, it could be leather, it could be nylon, it could be canvas. Could be any number of things, but it has to be well built. You have to have good hardware, and you have to have a good strap to attach it to your bag, to yourself.
Right.
And once those standards are met, then you need to get some training.
Yeah, for sure. I when I bring this up, this particular story up in class, I said, listen, even if this woman spent $12 on an Uncle Mike's holster and sewed it to her purse, sewed it on the inside, this is a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
And then I said, there's a lot of products like Dean Adams that started out of a woman wanted to carry a gun and needed somewhere to put it. So she sewed some sort of she fashioned a holster and sewed it inside of her gun.
But people have to have that information.
Yeah.
And when instructors are afraid to even share that information or think of something new to help that student, they just let that student flounder away, or they're not even a student. They're just somebody existing without the information at all.
Yeah.
And that's why we have accidents.
For sure.
But you know what? We have accidents with holsters too. People shoot their leg, or they shoot their hand, or they shoot their rear end trying to put their gun in their holster. So a holster is not anything magic.
Yeah. I took my son to the range a couple months ago, and he's got a SIG 365, and I got a couple holsters for him. I hate to say this, the holsters he's got are ones that I found that I didn't like. So I said, here, you take this. Yeah. And so he's like, it feels weird. It's not comfortable. And I'm like, we get down to hang the targets up, and he's trying to juggle the gun with the slide back and pick up the magazines. And I said to him, the same thing I heard from inside of you. A holster is a really nice place to put a gun. so I'm like, dude, well, you got to put the holster on. Carry. I understand it's uncomfortable. Yeah. Just put it on. It gives you so you can use both your hands and the gun somewhere safe.
Right.
So, and I've heard someone else say that the only time you put your gun away back in the holster is when the threats are gone. So you're not in a rush.
Right.
It's not in pull the gun out quick and then put it away quick. Right. It's pull the gun out, use it, or not, whatever the situation is, and then take your time putting it back so that you don't have an accidental discharge.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you guys travel all over the country teaching classes.
Yes, and I've taught a number of classes in Mexico and in South Africa. And,
That's awesome.
And Italy, and Europe, a number of places. I don't travel overseas quite so much these
Right.
days as I have in the past, but the world is full of ignorance. People are dying and being wounded in silly gun accidents that never should happen.
Hmm.
The vast majority of those are preventable. And people are dying because they weren't armed when they needed to be.
Yeah.
And so we have plenty to do. And that's not confined to this nation, of course. That's all over the world. But
Right.
we have plenty to do here right now.
And when John first started, there was Gunsight, and there was Ray Chapman's place in Missouri, and Mossad had a place in New
In
England.
New Hampshire, yeah.
In New Hampshire, and so people could go to those destinations. But John is the one who became the itinerant instructor, and he would go to the students. He could go and train an entire police department. You couldn't send the entire police department
Oh, yeah.
to a location.
It's much more
And-
economical.
And so he was the one who started the traveling instructor.
Yeah.
That is wild. I did not know that.
Yeah.
It's I as a young person, I wanted to be a musician and I wanted to travel for work. So I had to change from doing gigs and traveling to the show that I have where I travel around the country and interview people. So
Right.
I still get to travel around, which I like and appreciate. But anyway, I didn't know that you were the one that started that. That's very cool.
Well,
And today there are a gazillion,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
but I have to say that John is the one who started that.
That's awesome. You're a trendsetter, man. You really are. Well, listen, I think we need to start wrapping it up a little bit here. Where can people find all the stuff that you're up to? Where can they find a class schedule? How they can? I mean, since you started the traveling, you can. If somebody wanted to book you folks for a class,
the best thing to do is go to our website. It's defense-training.
defense-training.
Defense and then hyphen and training.com.
Okay.
All the classes are listed there. You can send me an email. The email address is on there. I answer all my emails personally.
I couldn't believe it when you answered mine. It was one of these things. I'm like, all right, I'm going to send John and I'm going to send Ken Hackathon an email. And I think I got yours first, and then I didn't hear from. And I was like, I'm going to send John one. John said yes. I'm like, all right, I'm going to send one to Ken. And Ken's like, I'm not coming to SHOT Show.
Yeah.
So, and you got back to me really quickly, and I was buzzing and I was on a little high, and I'm like, all right, who else can I get to say yes? Who else? Like, I'm going to take this momentous energy and move it forward.
Yeah. But the SHOT Show is not popular with everyone. It's hectic and all that.
It's great, and the crud, and it's long days.
Yeah.
My friends think it's a party. I'm like, I'm not going to party. I'm going to work.
No, we come here to work. I've got to see what's new. I've got to see what's being taught. I have to be seen.
Yeah.
So, people, oh, he's still alive?
Oh my gosh.
So-
Where can people find your book, Vicki?
The book is available on Amazon, but we also have a website dedicated to it. It's FlexCCarry, FlexCCarry, FlexCCarrySolutions.com, and you can order the book from there. It comes in a paperback, and it also comes in a spiral bound copy so that you can take it to the range and open it up, put it on the table, and
The spiral bound books are great for that.
yes.
For sure.
And I do the instructor course is 3 days. If anybody's interested in coming and learning to be a certified instructor, you have to have instructor credentials to be part of that class.
Mhm.
And it's a very intense 3-day class, and you learn a lot. Changes a lot of minds.
Sure. I listened to you on Rob Beckman's show. I'm like, all right, she's right. We have poo-pooed this. Maybe she's onto something.
Maybe.
Well, listen, I can't thank you both for taking the time.
Thank you, Charlie.
And the pleasure's mine, and I really appreciate this.
Well, good to get to know you too.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm honored.
Let's do it again.
Absolutely. We need to do a car show someplace. So we
Okay.
drive around in a car. I got lost with Masada Yub in my car. and I'm driving, and I'm like, does he know that I'm lost? He's got to know that I'm lost. And I went down, I drove in, I'm trying to drive in a big square. And I ended up driving, I kept going. I didn't make the last left-hand turn. and then I made a U-turn, and then I drove a little bit, and then I made another U-turn, and then I drove a little bit further, and then I made another U-turn,
Yeah.
and then I finally got back on the right road. And as we're wrapping things up, I said, you know, we don't have to call Gail and tell her that we got lost. And he says, oh, this is the first time that an Arab has been kidnapped. And I was like, this is gold. I absolutely love this.
Well, I'll tell you what, you come to the Rocky Mountains, I'll drive, and you sit in the shotgun seat
I'm in.
and ask questions, and we'll keep John awake, and and he can answer.
I'll probably doze off, but
That sounds awesome. I went to so this is the stuff I love about my gig, right? This is how friendly the people are and how welcoming gun owners are. I was going to outside of Denver for a friend's son's wedding.
yes.
And Michael Bain posted on my Facebook.
wow.
I said I'm going to. I saved $22 on a flight, right? And I posted that. I said, hey, the flight was cheaper. I rebooked it. I saved $22. And Michael posted. He's like, when are you coming to Colorado? I'd love to be on the show.
Oh,
And then he gave me the address to the secret hidden bunker. And I've been to the secret hidden bunker.
Oh,
So
well, we're neighbors with Michael Bain.
yes, yeah, and it's great. We, me with my background in music, we drove from his place from the secret hidden bunker to Estes Park. We talked about music, and then on the way back we talked about guns.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is great. This is like, oh, it's heaven, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
Mike is a wonderful friend.
He is. He's great.
Good guy.
All right. Well, listen. Thank you guys for listening to the show. Thank you guys for being on. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do. If you've listened this much of the show, please share it with your friends, because that is how we get the Stagecoach across America. We also want to thank Otis Technologies again for letting us use the booth. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.